This video will have some further examples to help you solve linear equations. Example 1. Use the flowchart to solve this equation. So we're solving for m. M is our unknown. Remember that solve means you're isolating the variable. So what's the first step? Collect the constants. What's a constant here? 1 is a constant and 2 is a constant. They are constants because they don't have a letter with them like this -2/5 does. So these are constants. So I'm going to collect those first. How do I decide how to collect them? Well, considering the equal sign, we always talk about the equal sign, and then this part is the left side and the 2 here is on the right side. I'm going to bring the constants over to the right side because I'm trying to get them away from the m. So I want to take that 1 and I want to move it over with the 2. I want to pick it up and move it over here. To do that, I perform the opposite operation, which is subtraction of 1. That's going to give me -2m over 5 equals, so these are 0, equals 1. Now that's my step 1 there, that's done. Step 2 says isolate the variable, and I isolate the variable, which is m, by multiplying or dividing by the coefficient, and the coefficient is the number attached to the letter. So this -2 and this 5 are attached to m with multiplication and division. So I have to isolate m. I'm going to do it one step at a time. I'm first going to get rid of the denominator of a 5. Right now this is m divided by 5. Well, -2, but m divided by 5. The opposite of division by 5 is multiplication by 5. So I'm going to take this whole side and I'm going to multiply it by 5 times that side. And I'm going to take this side and multiply by 5. A dot means multiply. We like to use dots instead of time signs because multiplication signs also look like the letter X. So I'm going to use a dot. So when I multiply, the reason I do that is to cancel out these 5's, because if this is 5 over 1, so 5 over 5 gives me 1. So what I have left here is -2m equals 1 times 5 is 5. I'm still in step 2. I did the multiplying part first. Now I have to divide by the coefficient. So now I have to divide by -2 in order to isolate m. And I get an answer of, these cancel out, and I get an answer of m equals, we always move the negative up, never leave it on the bottom, -5 over 2. So that's the second step done. The third step isn't always necessary. It says if necessary. Reduce fractions. So this fraction can't be reduced. Depending on what your final answer, the question is that you're working on, you may see this written as a mixed number. That would be -2.5. So you could do that step there, but really once you get m equals -5 over 2, you have finished that question. Example 2. Use proper form to check that w equals 4 is the solution to 2w plus 4 equals 12. This is important here, proper form to check. So I already have the answer. The answer is w equals 4, but I'm going to use proper form to check it. And proper form doesn't mean I just kind of figure it out in my head and I say, yeah, that'll work. I have to show my steps here. The one that I've shown you before is you take your equation, you go straight, draw a line straight through the equal sign, a vertical line here, and then you kind of make it into a T-chart or into a table. That line's not very straight. So that's one way to do it. I'm going to show you, so what that's doing is it's cutting through the equal sign, and it's making 2w plus 4 the left side, and 12 is now the right side of the equal sign. So I'm just going to write it out a little differently. I'm just going to write it like this. Left side equals 2w plus 4, and then my right side is 12. So instead of using the T-chart, I'm going to do it this way, and it doesn't matter to me which way you do it. So let's check. We're going to check w equals 4, so I need to sub that in. Into the left side, that's where the w is. So instead of a w, I'm putting a 4 there. Plus 4. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 4, I get a 12, which was also my right side. My right side was a 12 and my left side was a 12. And you would have done exactly this in the chart here if you prefer to do it in the chart. Just showing you another way to write it out without a chart. A little cleaner looking maybe. So if your left side equals your right side, if it's balanced, it means that 4 was the right answer. So I'm going to write therefore, or since the left side equals the right side. Now that doesn't mean the answer is 12. The answer is not 12. The answer is 4. Since left side equals right side, then W must equal 4. So there's a check. And next is the last one I'm going to do, example 3. The area of a trapezoid is given by this formula, which you learned in previous years. Here's the trapezoid telling you what the A, B, and the H all stand for. Capital A is for the area. Find the area of the trapezoid that has a side length A of 3 centimeters, B is 7 centimeters, and the height is 5 centimeters. So we need our formula. Write that out. A equals bracket A plus B over 2, close bracket, and the H just here means multiplication. You can put a little dot there if you want to, but that because they're attached to each other, the H and the bracket are attached, it means multiplication. Let's sub in. A is 3, so we'll put a 3 there for A, plus B is 7. 7 over 2, H is 5 times 5. Order of operations, I have to do the brackets first, and even within the brackets I have to do the numerator first. I have to do 3 plus 7 first. So that gives me 10 over 2 times 5. And that's really a 5 over a 1. 10 over 2 is 5. So I get 5 times 5. So I have an area of 25. And we're going to put that as a units on that. Therefore, area is equal to 25. What were the units? Well, we had centimeters in the question, but area is always squared. So it's 25 centimeters squared. And our last question for this short video. B, the area of another trapezoid is 72 inches squared. This is inches squared. This also means inches, as does this word inches. So IN, the word inches, or you have some number with like quotation marks there. Those are all ways to represent the word inches, which is imperial measurement, not metric. So we've got an area of 72 inches squared. Let's start with the formula. My formula is A equals A plus B over 2 times H. Now what can we sub in? Well, we know the area is 72 inches squared. Remember area, we have made our answer squared there as well. So right here for A, I'm going to put the 72 in that spot. And for this lowercase a goes a 4, and in for B is 20, but I don't know H. So 72 equals 4 plus 20 over 2 all times H. Order of operations, I still have to do the bracket first. So 4 plus 20 is 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12, so I get a 12H there. I have to isolate H, and everybody's really good with this now. You know that to isolate H, I need to break off that 12. The 12 and the H are attached with multiplication. The opposite of that is division. 12 over 12 is 1. So that leaves me with 6 equals H. Therefore, the height, or H, just said find H, therefore H equals 6 what? So here you can write the word inches, you can do the quotation marks for inches, or you can write just IN. That's it for your second video on working with solving 1 or 2 step equations.